and here is my sweet cream or sweet corn casserole. 14 little circles out of this. Oh my gosh, that's 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And here we are. I didn't think it was gonna pop up that easily. I gotta get to chopping those onions. And you know what I forgot on my plate? A piece of sausage. Putting this on top. And oh my gosh, these are delicious. Isn't that cute? And there, that's the finished one. I wish I had videotaped in there. Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be making a Christmas mini snowman lantern. I'm going to be using items that I found at the Dollar Tree, and I might have a few items that were not from the Dollar Tree, but let me let you know what those were, and then we'll get to making this craft. Okay, the first thing that I got from the Dollar Tree are some frames. So I got these 4x6 frames, and I got 4 of them to create my lantern. You've seen some tutorials probably where they create some using the bigger size, I think the 8x10, but I'm going to be doing a mini one, so this is the size that I chose. I'm also going to be using 2 of these mirror candle holders, and I got these where the candle holder aisles are. Actually, it was in the same aisle where the frames are as well, so you probably have that in your Dollar Tree set up the same way. Also from the floral section, I got this little mini glass bowl, like a fishbowl shaped. This is either a little vase or a little candle holder, so I got one of those. I also found this little candle holder, a little tea light holder is what it is, and I thought it was really cute. Looks like an atom, but I thought it was really cute. Okay, so I'm going to use that in there. Also from the Dollar Tree, I'm going to be using these little snowflake ornaments. I'm probably going to use maybe one. If I do use any of this I'm using for other projects, so this is going a long way. It's a packet of 10 from the Dollar Tree. I also got a couple of bushes. I got a bush of poinsettias, and I got one of some pine cone and some berries, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to use, so I'm just going to suggest that you get yourself these little inexpensive little floral bushes and pine cone bushes if you plan on doing lots of little Christmas crafts. They're inexpensive and they go a long way if you use just a little bit from each one. Okay, also from the Dollar Tree, this wired garland ties. This is chenille stem, and I've used these before. So these are great because there's 12 in there, and it goes a long way. So I'm going to use some of that. These polystyrene foam beads. Okay, this is like a faux snow. They do have it in the Christmas section. They were out of it in my Dollar Tree, so I just grabbed it from the floral section. And in the Christmas section, it's called faux snow. Okay, also from the Dollar Tree, this painter's pen, and this writes on glass and plastic, and I found this where their little clear plastic ornaments are. It's just hanging on a little strip there, so if you want to look for that, I got that from there. Also from the Dollar Tree, I'm going to use a piece of foam board. Now a foam board is about 20 by 30 inches or so, and so I have a scrap, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use some of that from there, and that'll go a long way as well. Okay, let me see, what else did I get from the Dollar Tree? Oh, this diamond wrap. This is from the floral department. Actually, I got this particular one, I got it from their Halloween, but they do have this in their floral section. They're probably going to have it in their Christmas as well, and I'm hoping that your Dollar Trees have stocked up. I actually went today, and mine was getting stocked up, so I can't wait to go back. Also, I got some ribbon. This is a 5/8 inch width of ribbon, and it's 3 yards on every roll, so that's great. This one looks like it's about to run out, but I do have some more, so I may use that instead. I also have some ribbon, but that I didn't get. I think that was it from the Dollar Tree. Yes, okay. This is from Hobby Lobby. This is some ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby. It's a 10-yard roll. It's from their wedding section, and it's really pretty, and I've used it already in my craft, so I'm going to use a little bit of that. I also have this ribbon. It's from the Christmas section, and this is only a $2.99 roll, and this has 30 feet, which is 10 yards, so that's a great deal. And the Christmas right now, all their Christmas is 40% off, so take advantage of that. I also have some leftover snowflakes that I've gotten at Hobby Lobby. I think this package probably, yeah, it was $4.99. It's right on there. I was gonna say it probably cost me about $5, but I did get it at 40 off. This I've had it now for 2 or 3 years. I'm not really sure but I've been using some of it now. And I also found some snow cover. You can get it from any way you want. And I got this at the Dollar General, actually. So just hit up those dollar stores. And also I'm going to be using, I showed you the paint marker, the white one. I got these Sharpies. I've got an orange one and a black one because I am going to do a snowman face on my little jar. So I'm going to use these markers to try and do that. Okay, I know that I can draw it, but I just don't know how well these Sharpies are going to work on glass. Now, I will suggest that you get yourself an oil-based Sharpie to paint on glass, so make sure that it stays on there and it won't rub off. But for the meantime, I'm just going to be using these regular Sharpies. I'm not going to worry about it, but for your sake, go ahead and get that. Also from Hobby Lobby, I got myself a sheet of the stiffy felt. It's a little stiff. It's not really that stiff. Here we go. This is a 12 by 18 sheet, in case you want to know the size. They're all the same, but you know, just in case. Don't get the little ones. Get those little soft ones. Get this larger, stiffy ones, because this is going to be used to make a top hat on our snowman. If you don't want a top hat, you can maybe find one that's already made, or maybe make a little cap, like a little knitted cap, or use a sock to do the cap. Okay, but that's a different idea. Okay, now you're going to need some tools to create this, and part of our tools is our glue. So I've got either, which you can use either, from the Dollar Tree, the Super Glue Fix-All Adhesive, or you can grab yourself some, let's see, E6000. This is the glue that I'm going to use because I love using it, but this works just as well. And I went ahead and I grabbed a tube of this so we can try it out. So I'll go ahead and use that today. And you're going to need a hot glue gun and some glue sticks. And also wire cutters, floral wire to tie up our ribbon, to tie up our little bows, some scissors to cut them up, and little pliers. And I'm going to be using a straight edge ruler and pencil. Okay, those are your supplies, and so just collect whatever you can to decorate your little lantern. We're going to start making it so that you can have a great idea and get inspired to do this yourself. So let's get to crafting. Alright, so what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've opened up all my frames and removed the backings and the paper from them. So I'm sure you know how to do that, so we just turn it over. And in the back it's got these little prongs, and you want to pull those out completely. So just do it carefully, because these frames from the Dollar Tree are not the best quality, so they do tend to break. So just do it carefully and use your little pliers and just hold down your frame as you pull them out. You can wiggle them a little bit. And there we go. Those come out, and those are trash. And then we're going to take this out, and we're not going to need this backing, but on this backing it's got these little, you know, hangers, because you want to hang these frames in the wall. So what I'm doing is I've removed them from the backers before I throw them away, because I'm going to save all these little bits. So save them because you can use them on other little crafts, so that you can glue them to the back and use them to hang items. Obviously lightweight items. I'm not going to use them to hang anything heavy. So I'm just going to pull them off. I can actually pull them off just with like that with my finger, and it comes right off. Okay, and we don't need that little metal bit in there. So if that comes off, don't worry about it. Okay, you just need this part. Just save that. Okay, this is trash, and the paper is trash, and we're going to remove the glass carefully, and we're just going to use some hot glue. You can use some of your E6000 or some of your Fix-All adhesive, but I'm just going to use hot glue for the purpose of the video, and just some dabs here and there. And then I'm just going to place my glass back in there. Now, I've noticed that some people do leave these little prongs in the back. They just fold them up, pull out everything, and then bend them back down. These little prongs in the back, instead of pulling them off. They leave them on there, but then when you're looking at it through here, you see them through the glass. So I'm just removing them because I don't need them, and because I am gluing the glass back on. So that's why I have removed them. Okay, so now I've got these 4 pieces of frame. The next thing I want to do is I want to make sure I remove all these webbings from my hot glue gun, and mainly the ones that are going to be on the inside when I create a cube from this. You don't worry about the outside. You can wipe it later, but you might want to get yourself some glass cleaner and clean that up. Just make sure it's nice and clean. For the purpose of the video, I'm just going to go ahead and start putting them together. They're pretty clean. This one seems kind of, I don't know, but we're going to just go with it. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create a cube with them, like so. Okay, I can do that either standing up, or I can do it this way. Okay, so it's up to you how you want to use it. But I do want to make sure that my candle holder that I purchase will fit inside. So you want to make sure that it fits within the space of the glass, you know, the height. And if that's good, then you can certainly use it going sideways like this. But I'm going to use it standing up because I want it to look like a little lantern. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on the edge of this one. Actually, on the long sides. Okay. I'm going to put some glue on the edge of this one, and I am going to be using this Fix-All adhesive. I was looking for it. This Fix-All adhesive, I'm just going to puncture it and get it open. And I'm going to do a line of that on the side here and some on this end over here. But also I'm going to be using my hot glue gun so I can get things to stick now. I've got a little fan going, so I'm just going to turn it around so it doesn't dry up my glue from my hot glue gun. Okay, so just some dots here and there, and take another one. And these aren't going to stick very well because they don't have quite a flat side to them. So I'm going to put them on here and try to get it as close to the edge. And I'm just going to hold it till it dries. And hopefully that hot glue from the glue gun will help do that. I'm just going to run a little bead on the inside here. Okay. We want that to dry. I'm going to put this right here to help it stay in place while I attempt to do the other side. Okay. Get some dots of glue. Okay. And this right there. Okay, so just make sure you get some frames that are flat on here. This is kind of at an angle. So really all I've got that's holding on is this little edge here. So we're going to get that on there. Okay, and then we're going to do the top one. I hope you can see this. I think my shirt is kind of giving you too much black. So there we go. That's what we're forming. And now we're going to put the other one up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue here and then also the hot glue gun, and then I'm going to lay it on top. Okay. This is holding just fine. Look at that. Okay, but just for the heck, I'm going to put this little bits here just so that it doesn't open up on me and fall open. Okay, so just some glue on here and here as well. And then with my hot glue gun, all right, now we're going to turn this around and put it right on there. And just make sure this is open so that it fits right on there. Okay, so that's what we want. We want this cube, and we're going to let that dry. And we will be back for this item in just a bit. What I want to do next is get that little hat going. So I'm just going to move this over to the side here. I'm going to put these items here as well. I'm going to need this one. So I'm going to get my felt. And we're just going to make one little hat. What you want to do is you want to trace the opening of the hat. So just place it upside down in a little corner. And then just trace it with your pencil. Get a nice sharp point on there so that you can get this to slide under there and mark the felt. And as you can see that it marked it, and it's not perfect, but it marked it good enough. All right, so I am going to just trim that out. And just trim it out with my scissors. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We just want a circle. Okay, so that's what we want, a circle just like that. We're going to use the same circle and cut another one, but this time we're going to want to make that to be 1 inch bigger on each side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it on here, measure 1 inch from that edge, measure 1 inch from this other edge. Oops. And then I'm just going to eyeball the other inch. I do have a grid here that I can use to help me. I've got this little string of glue that I got to remove. Okay. So just with my pencil, I'm going to do a line. And then 1 inch from the edge of the circle, this outward, I'm going to make another line. Create a square. You may not be able to see that, but I created a square. Let me tell you the overall size. The diameter of my circle is 3 inches, okay? So if you have something that's round and it's got the diameter of 3 inches, use that or use a compass. This opening on this happens to be 3 inches. Make sure that you measure the opening of your little vase. Okay, so I've done that square. So I'm on my rotary mat board here. So I'm going to use my rotary cutter, but again, if you don't have this, you can use your scissors. And of course I did that in a very dangerous way. Okay, that came off? Yes. All right. So now that I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and, no, I don't need to do that. This is the way that I've been doing it, is that I've just been rounding off the corners, like so. Just round them off, just eyeball it. And I'll tell you the diameter of this, that way you have an idea. It is about, I think it's 5 inches. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5-inch diameter. So a 3-inch diameter circle and a 5-inch diameter if you happen to be using the same size of bowl that I'm using. At the Dollar Tree, they have 2 sizes. They have like one that's a little bit bigger than this and this one. So I use the smaller one of that in case you're wondering. It doesn't tell me on here the size, but just go according to the opening of that. Okay, if it's a 3.5, then go 5.5 or so. I'm going to close this up because the smell is really bugging me. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I had to get myself some water because I was choking a little bit. I'm not sure if it was the glue or what, but I will recommend that you use the E6000 glue, even though the E6000 does have a scent and you do have to use it in a ventilated area. It's not giving me the same kind of trouble or problems as this one is. So, you know, keep in mind that if you do have some sensitivities to smells or something like that, you might want to opt for a higher quality of glue. Or just use your hot glue gun and just, you know, this can be just a little temporary craft. Because, you know, the hot glue gun works great on plastic and some other materials, but it doesn't work very great on glass, okay? Glass is sort of a cold, non-porous material, so the hot glue will just basically hover on it for a little bit, and it'll eventually just peel off. So that's the only reason that I'm using those other glues. Because I do want it to stay, and this will dry to stay, and the hot glue is just there temporary to hold that, but it'll glue everything else. Okay, let's continue on with our little hat. I've done this before in other videos, so if you've already watched them and you already know how to do this, you might want to just skip over this part. If not, we're going to continue. So left off with telling you a 3-inch diameter and a 5-inch diameter circle, and now we're going to do what will be the cylinder part of the hat, the part that will be going right here to make this hat. Okay, we'll pretend this is the top hat right there, and then the top. There we go. Okay, or we could do this. Look, see? Haha. Okay. Enough of that. Let's do about 4 inches in height, only because I don't know if that'll be too tall, or, you know, it's at least enough, 4 inches in height, because this is not a very big little project. I've done some where I've gone up 5 inches on these small items, and they still look fine, or 4.5 actually is what I ended up using. Okay, so I'm going to cut it. I didn't need to mark it because I'm using my rotary cutter, but if you go ahead and mark it, because you don't have a rotary cutter, then go ahead and just cut them with your scissors. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to use my rotary cutter for this. And there we go. So now what I have is a 12 by 4 inch piece. This will get trimmed off, but at least have, you know, 12 inches. And I think the last time that I did this hat, it ended up being an 8-inch diameter. So we're going to find out right now what it needs to be. Okay, what we want is a cylinder to go around this, what do you call that? The circumference of this little circle. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make a little tube like that, just round it off like that, and just eyeball right over it. And it's okay if it's just a little smaller than your 3-inch circle, okay? You don't want it to be bigger. So just kind of eyeball it and then decide that, okay, that's a good size for my cylinder. I'm gonna go, and this is gonna overlap an inch right here where we're gonna glue it. So keep that in mind. I like this size. It's just a little bit smaller than my 3 inches, okay? But I'm going to give it an inch to overlap. So I'm just going to mark it right here. And right where I marked it, I'll just fold it like that. And then I know where to just completely cut it. Either mark it with a pencil, use your scissors, or your rotary cutter. I think you get the idea of what this applies to you. So this is what I cut off. So I ended up with 9 inches, okay? I think the last time I cut it, I did 8 inches. I'm not really sure, but I may have done that. So we're doing 9 inches, and then we're gonna put glue. Let me get some more glue. I need glue stick in there. We're gonna put glue on about an inch here. Get that glue in there. All the way to the edge. And then we're gonna flip this around. And on top of that, and there you go, you have a cylinder. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to put glue on the edge here, and you're going to stick this on there. My recommendation is to do halfway, glue it on, and then just flip this open, put the rest of the glue, and then stick it on there. Okay, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to try to hold it as round as I possibly can. And just put it on there. Make sure that it does go, you know, all your edges are on the circle. And don't worry if you've gone right on the edge over here and over here it's left over, because we're going to trim all that's kind of overlapping, okay? So I'm just going to let it dry a little bit and get all my little webs off of it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is going to trim right on the edge. And you want to make sure your glue from the glue gun is dry, okay? Because otherwise it gets all over your scissors, and it's a little bit harder to trim it because you have to keep pulling it off, as I was when I first started doing it. Okay, so I've trimmed that off. Okay, any bits of glue, just remove them, and anywhere where this kind of pops up, just put some more glue and glue it down. That's the top of my hat. Now we want to put it on this circle, and we're going to try also again to glue it as well as we can in the center here. But if you go off a little bit, it doesn't matter, because you can just trim it so it all looks the same, or at least as close to the same as you can. So again, just some glue, like I said, and the other one halfway, glue it down, and then just lift it. But I'm going ahead and just do the whole thing now, because I already learned, do it fast. Okay, so that's stuck on there now. So now what I'm going to do here, because it's not centered all proper, I'm going to look for the least amount of brim space. This side has less, so I'm going to use this measurement to trim all the way around. So I'm just going to eyeball it, okay? This was the smallest one. And just eyeball it. Now we're going to decorate this little hat, so, I mean, really, you don't even have to do this part. But, you know, if you're a little picky, not very picky because this isn't perfect, but if you're just a little picky, then go ahead and trim it just like I just did. So that's our top hat. We don't need to do anything else to it. We're going to decorate it as soon as we put everything together, and that's going to be the head of our snowman. And you can see how cute that looks. Now, if you want, you can remove this little sticker, and I normally do remove it, but because I'm going to be resting it on something, we're not even going to see that. And we're going to put some snow in there. Okay, so we're going to put that to the side. We're going to check on our cube here with our frames, and it's pretty stable, but you're going to want to let them dry overnight. So if you decide to do several of them, glue them all at the same time, and you can even wait to glue the glass on there after you've got them in there. Okay, so we're going to need some foam board, and I've got my foam board right here. Just kind of moving things out of the way. Slide this on top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over like so. I'm going to move this to a nice edge that's not all bumped, because this one is, and it doesn't really matter because it's not going to show really. Okay, we're going to put this right there. And then I'm going to trace it as close to the edge as I can so that I know where I'm going to cut. So I'm just going to use my straight edge and my rotary cutter, because, or you can use an X-Acto knife if you don't have a rotary cutter, okay? For this particular thing, because if you use your scissors, it kind of just crushes everything. But this is going to get covered, so, you know, if you want to use your scissors, go right ahead. The only thing is, because it's a thick, you know, foam board, you know, you could ruin your scissors. But if you just have some craft scissors you don't care about, go ahead and do that. Okay, there we go. We've got that little piece cut out. We don't need all this other pieces. I'm going to just drop them on the floor. Okay, this is what we want to do. We want to get this, one of our mirrors. We want one of our mirrors to be underneath. And then we're going to glue this on top so that we have a mirrored bottom. Now, the reason that I'm putting the foam board is because this particular square that gets created is not the size of the glass. So I'm just going to get it on there as close as I can. Now, you don't have to put this glass underneath because you're going to drop some snow in there. And as a matter of fact, I'm already thinking that I'm not going to use it because I am going to drop lots of snow in there. So I'm not even going to need this piece of glass. What do you think? We just glue it right on here. I think we're going to do that. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change things right here, right now. This is the magic of crafting as you're creating things. I'm going to change this a bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trace the inside on my foam board. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece of foam board so that it fits inside of here rather than this on top of that and then having to worry about covering all this edge. Okay, let's do that. All right, I just convinced myself to do that. Okay, just trim. My rotary cutter's not wanting to cut very well anymore. I need a new blade. That came off. If this doesn't work, I've got plenty of foam board to do it the other way. It just occurred to me right now. I was thinking I'm going to use a mirror on the bottom and put this on top, but then I decided, well, wait a minute, I want to throw some snow in there. That's going to get covered. So you only need one mirror. And it's okay, it was only $1. I'll save it for something else. Okay, there we go. Now let's see if that fits in there. So I might have to do some more trimming. No, it fits just perfectly fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put hot glue on the bottom edge here on the inside. Slide that over on top of that. Before I do that, I'm going to get a piece of paper to put on my board because even though I can remove hot glue from here, I don't want to get any on there. Oh, here we go. I'm going to use my silicone pads. If you don't have that, just use a piece of paper, a little poster board or whatever scraps you might have, some newspaper. Okay, I'm going to put glue on the inside edge. I can already see some of this glass coming off. I don't want to crack it. Let's put some glue so it doesn't move from there. Okay, and then we're going to put glue on the bottom. I want you to see what I'm doing. Glue on the bottom here, as close to the bottom as you can. And I'm putting plenty on there because I'm going to cover all that up with snow. Not sand, snow. So we're not going to see that. Okay. Let's get that over here. Turn this over. Now make sure you let this dry overnight, this frame. Don't do what I'm doing because all this could fall apart on me in any moment. Alright, so we're back. My box is dried here now. So what I want to do is I want to get this glass up on top of here, but it's got some little crevices here where I can see right through, but I'm not going to worry about that because I want to decorate this top part with these pine chenille stems, so that'll hide all of that, and that's going to get glued to this actual frame part. But I also want to be able to reach inside of here to put my candle holder, and then a little tea light, which I didn't mention. I got some little tea lights, or little votive size little candles that are battery operated, that I'm going to put in here. I'm not going to use real flame. I'm going to use an artificial an artificial candle in here. Okay, so I forgot to show you that I did get those as well. Anyway, so I want to be able to reach in and turn that on and off. And the only way that I could do that is if one of these would either open or close, or it didn't have a glass or something like that, or this top completely just came off. But I don't want it to just completely came off because I don't want it to accidentally slide and, you know, do something like that or fall. So I want to attach it on there. So maybe you want to get yourself a little hinge and then glue to the inside edge here and to this here, so that you create that kind of a deal going on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some felt and I'm going to cut off a piece, almost 2 inches wide, and let's say 2 by 2. About a 2 by 2, okay? Little piece like that. And I'm going to glue part of this to the inside edge here. It doesn't have to be centered, but just try to get it in there. I'm just going to put some glue on the edge here and glue that to the inside of my cube. Make sure that it's not going too far down so that you don't see it through this side. Okay? So just glue it in there, and you probably want to use obviously the better glue, the E6000 or that Fix-All. Okay, so then we're just going to put glue now on this part, and I'm going to stick that. Now I know it overlaps a little bit, so I'm just going to stick it on there, and then just push it to where I need it. That's it, and then just make sure this is stuck. So there, I've created a little hinge right there. Okay, so you want to make sure when you put it down that you've got the same amount on both sides, so then you don't have a bigger gap on one side than you do on the other. So that's it. That's going to form our little box. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so then I showed you this diamond wrap at the beginning, and I happen to have some black ones because I had also picked up some black, and I do have a new roll because I've already used some of this one, so I don't know if I'm going to have enough. So my idea was to use some of it on these edges here on the corners to cover where you can see that it's open right in there, because these are not flat and they're not laying completely flat on each other. So I wanted to use that to cover it, and I thought that would look really pretty on every side. But I also have this black one, so I'm tempted to use the black one instead. So here's what that looks like, so that you can make a decision whether you want to use the black or the silver. And I like bling, but not that much. So if you like bling, use a silver one. I'm going to use the black one, and I'm just going to kind of wrap it on the corner here. So I'm going to lay it down like so, and let this little glass fall open if it has to. If not, put something to hold it there. Okay. I'm going to glue this. I'm going to measure and see where I need to trim it. I'm going to do one piece at a time. Okay. So what I need to do is put some glue on this edge and some on here. Quickly lay it before my fan dries. Okay, and now I can see that I need to put some more glue a little bit further down here just to catch that edge. So get it in there. And there we go. Let's trim a little bit of this here because we're going to cover that up, so I'm not going to worry about it. Let me just trim that one little bit. Okay, now I'm going to do the other side. Now, if you're already thinking of ideas how this would work out a little bit better, go ahead and put those in the comments below. Be nice. Haha. I want to thank everybody that's been leaving comments. So awesome of you to do that. Okay, I'm going to cut a piece of this off because I got glue all over it. Okay, let's get that off. Okay, line it up with the bottom and just trim it at the top. There we go. And I still managed to get glue on the outside of it. The thing about the hot glue gun is you really just glue things down, let things dry before you start, you know, like pulling off, because what happens is because the glue is still wet, you're just stretching it more, you're just sticking it on there even worse. So let it dry before you try to remove things. Okay, there's a little box. If you want to trim it some more on this side, go for it. I'm just going to do it on one side, like that. And that's the front, where I'm gonna use that for my front. Okay, where I'm gonna be opening it and closing it. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to get this little candle holder in there. Now this little candle holder does not have to be glued on. You can just place it in there, so that then you can remove it if someday you decide that maybe you want to use a taller, like a, you know, like a pillar candle instead of something like this. So you don't have to glue it down. We're just going to open it up, place it in there, and just take a look. Do we like that? I do. I like the way that looks in there. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to put some of that snow cover down on there before I actually put this in there. So I'm going to get that ready. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab the little votive candle that I told you I got for this. And I'll be back again. Okay, I've gone ahead and I've got the little votive candles that I told you I got. This is what they look like. But I also have these little tea light ones. They're also battery operated, so they got the little switches on the bottom to turn them on and off. And I'm going to open both of them just for the purpose of showing you, so that you can decide what you would rather use. And I'm going for this one. That's really what I wanted to use, but if I have to switch, I will switch to this one. Okay, so here we go. Got two of those. Let me put something underneath, something white, so that you can see this better. Okay. All right, this is what I want to use. I want to use this little red candle, little votive in here. So you can see how that looks. Let me go ahead and, I don't really want to light it up yet because I want it to be an element of surprise, but I'll go ahead and do it for this purpose so we can know what we would rather use. That looks really pretty in there. I love that. I love bringing the red in there. Now these come in white and they come in like an ivory color. And if you're lucky enough to find them in black, awesome. And this is a little tea light. And that's what it looks like. As you can see, it's a little lower. It's halfway in there. But it's just another alternative. Can you see the little, it's lit up? There you go. So there you go. So now you can choose. I'm still going to go for the votive. I like this in there best. Okay, so we're going to use that. We're going to push that over to the side and grab our snow that I want to put in there so we can get this going. All right, so I've got the snow cover, and I just need a little bit. I don't need a ton of it. Just need a little bit. Probably not even that much, okay? What I want to do is I want to open it up. Now, if you find the ones that come in like a little like a sheet, like a fabric, you know, like a felty fabric, go ahead and get that one. That one's pretty cool. You can use that. And those come like, some of them have a little bit of glitter on them. Some don't. So anyway, I'm just going to spread it open a little bit like so and just trim off what I don't think well, I might use it. I might still put that in there. Go ahead and take the snow. Now you can put some little dots of glue on here if you want it to stick. Just put it in there. I'm just going to push it down. In there, just like that. I think that one little bit that I've gotten in there is good enough. I don't need to put any more because I am going to drop some of these flakes in there. That's what they look like. I'm just going to drop some of them in there. You could drop some little gems in there if you want, little plastic gems. You can also find those there at the Dollar Tree where they have all their floral items. I'm going to get some in there, make sure I get that in the little corners so that kind of covers that up. A little mess in there. Okay, we're done with that. Let's see how our little candle looks like in there. That's all that's going to go in there. It's just going to rest in there. There we go. Perfectly fine. Yes. So we're going to get our mini garland. We're going to glue this to the edge of the frame here. We're not going to glue it to the glass, okay? We're just going to glue it to the edge. And what you want to do is you kind of want to rough it up a little bit like that. Get it like that. All right. I'm going to glue it to the top edge. So I'm going on the outside here. Again, use some of that other glue, okay? To make sure you get a better bond. And then a little bit of your hot glues to get a quick bond. To get it to hold in place. Okay. So I'm just pressing it down. And I'm making sure that, yes, I can still open this. I can push my little finger in there. And open that. I sure can. Oh God, some of it got caught in the glue, so make sure that this dries before you let this fall. Okay. Now, the way to do that is you can get a little piece of foam board, put it on top of there. If you need to let that dry overnight, make sure that this is not touching anything here if you use the other glue, okay? But I think it's working just fine with just hot glue for now. Okay. There we go. This is the magic of creating as you go along. Okay, now I am going to fold these edges like so. Just bend the wire so now it's going this way. Bend it as much as I can. And I'm going to take another chenille stem because this is going to go on this part and then it's going to fold it inward that way. Okay, there we go, just like that. Okay, so now we're going to glue this back one and then we'll do the edges, the sides. And this one doesn't matter if it catches on over here because that's the glued part of the glass, the mirror glass. Rough it up first, you know, like what I was saying, like squish it around so that it's not all flat. And I didn't do it, so here I am now doing it on here while it's on here. Okay, this is the back part anyway. Okay, so now we're going to put some glue on the side here so we can glue these two ends down. Don't make a mess like I am. And with this garland to kind of lead upward a little bit here because we're gonna cover that little gap, okay? I'm gonna trim this right here. Get some glue in there. Push it down. You know, my sister-in-law got me these little finger protectors for the hot glue. And I need to remember to use them so I don't keep burning my fingers. But I am using my little mini glue gun, so it's not dispersing a lot of glue on here. Let me grab one. See these little little silicone fingertip things, little protectors so that you can use that to push down on glue. Okay, let me go ahead and do this side. I'm just going to bend them up a little bit. Get this side glued. Gotta hold it down. And we'll do the other side. And I'm going to trim it to size. So, okay, so I said we were going to use 2, but I'm using 3 chenille stems here. And push it up. And stick it down in there. Oh, I don't know why this is making me think of Hawaii. Like a little Hawaiian crown on the head or something. But look, that's what it's looking like so far. You don't want to tilt it while you have that candle in there, by the way. I was just doing that. Okay, so we can still reach in, still open that up. Turn that little candle on and off. Okay, let me clean all that off and then we'll start doing our little snowman head. We just finished decorating the edges on this whole cube here. We've added a mirror that hinges open so we can reach in there and turn that little votive candle on and off. Now we're going to go ahead and build a snowman head that's going to go on the top. Okay, we've got some choices here. Let's get our little, what's going to be our snow. I'm going to get the little bits of leftover that I cut off earlier. And I threw it in this bag. Here we go. There we go, that little bits. From that piece that I put inside of there, I had some little bits left over. So here's our choice. We can use that to fill our snowman head. Probably do a nicer, smoother job of that. Yeah, there we go. You can either do that, fill it up with that, if that's what you want to try and use. Or you can use a bag of these foam beads or faux snow. And you can find these type of beads also at Hobby Lobby. But I mean, they're only $1 at the Dollar Tree. I'm not really sure how much they were at Hobby Lobby, but I'm probably sure they weren't $1. They were probably $1.99. And even though they are part of the section where they have 40% off Christmas, because they do have a Christmas label on them, you're still going to get it for less at the Dollar Tree. And we can use this whole amount in there. So let's see how that looks. That's cute. I kind of like the little snowballs in there instead. Now what we could do, these little snowballs go everywhere, so you're going to make a mess. Especially since I have this little fan on me. Because I've got all these lights and I get hot. And also the smell of the glue. Okay, so we can use that. And we could add some of this in there. We could push some of that in the middle to kind of make it even fuller. But I just got them everywhere. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use the little balls. I really like the way the little balls look. Let's try and get these. They're not easy to grab, especially with this little thing on my finger. They get like staticky, or I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the contact paper on this. It's like a dry erase contact paper actually. Okay, get those in there. But I'm going to throw some of these snowflakes in there as well, just to kind of mix it up. Use a glue stick to kind of mix them around. You're probably not even going to see that. That's okay if you don't. Just to fill it up a little bit more because I want it all the way to the top. Yeah, that'll work. All I'm doing is making a bigger mess. Okay, so you make your decision how you want to fill it up. I like the little balls. If you want it like really, really full, then just grab a couple of these little packets of these little snowballs and use a whole packet in there. And if you need more, use some from the second packet, because these little balls, I've used them in my other projects. And if you're following along or at least getting inspired to do similar items, you're going to use them again. Okay, there we go. It's nice and full. So now what we want to do is we want to cover all that up with a top hat. Yes. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll worry about painting the face on there. I was thinking about painting the face on there way before, and maybe you want to do that. But because I'm using these Sharpies, I don't want to smear them while it's, you know, they might still be wet in the paint. So I'm going to wait till the very last to do that. Okay, so now I'm just going to put some glue. Now you want to use that E6000, or let me go ahead and do that. Just for the heck of showing you. And I hope this glue is not too dried up. No, it's not. So you're just going to put little dots of this E6000 glue. It doesn't have to be like all the way, but just in little spots here and there. And then I'm going to use my hot glue gun to get an immediate bond. And I'm also kind of doing like little dots here and there. Okay, so now we want to place our little hat. Quickly move it so that it's where you want it. Now, this area here where the seam is, if you can see it right there, that's going to be the back of the head of your little snowman. So there you go. That's the little head, as you can see, with a little top hat. And that's going to seal in the little beads. So just make sure you press down on the edge here where you can feel the edge of the glass. And just check it if any parts lift up, which right here I have a little spot. More glue, more glue. Just put some more glue there so the little snowballs don't escape and make a mess in your home. Or if you happen to take this to somebody, it doesn't go spilling everywhere. Okay. The other option is not to put any snow in there if you don't want. You could also fill it up with just a little bit of snow, maybe put another little candle in there and do the same thing with this hat and just glue it on one side, on half of it. Or not even half, just a little, like a small portion, maybe 3 inches or so on the rim. And you can also lift it up and turn the votive that you put in there on and off. Obviously, a battery operated one. You're not going to use real flames in there because you're going to cause a fire. So don't do that. Okay. Now we want to decorate our little hat. So I've got all these little ribbons, and I have this one, and I remember I said this is probably not going to be enough. Not very much left of it in it, so I did have another roll. This has got little swirls and little flakes. So I'm going to use a combination of both. Get that off my finger. Okay, and I've got this one too, because I'm going to use that as well. But I'm going to use this black one first, because I want to put that on here first. So I'm just going to measure around and just trim it. Trim a piece off. And at the back where the seam is, I'm going to put some glue there. And I'm going to put it kind of high. I'm going to go about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inches. I'm not going to put it way down at the bottom edge, okay? I'm going up a little bit. And then just bring it around. You can put little dots of glue all the way around and glue it down. But I'm just going to put this glue stick. Come on. I'm just going to put some along the way and hold it down. And then just on this other little end, overlap it. Let me get this little, now I need it. And push it down. There we go. So you get a little band around that. And I like that this one says Merry Christmas, so I'm going to put that right on top of that. It's not really going to cover it. It's nice. I'm just going to cut a straight edge on this because it was kind of a... All right, let's put some glue again back here at the back. And I'm just going to make sure that my ribbon is facing the correct way. And I want to kind of center it on this. I know what I did wrong. I put this one a little too low. It's okay. We're just going to go ahead and align it over here. Trim it. And then what I'm going to do, so it doesn't move around on me, put little dots of glue here and there. Because I want this to kind of stay centered on top of that other ribbon. And I'm just using this on top of here because it says Merry Christmas. I want that little message that the ribbon has. Okay, so that's what I want to do. And it almost ends, the ends almost matched. I got 3 R's though on Mary right there. But it almost matched. But anyway, there you go. That's what that looks like. Okay, so we're going to get this ribbon out of the way. We're going to use this one, but I want to get some of this mini pine garland. So this is one more that I'm using. I've used 3 over here. And then I'm going to use an extra one. So far, 4 chenille stems. That's pretty good because this package is of, I think it's 12. Last time I counted from the other package, it was 12. So I'm going to measure this around. and see how it fits. Push it all the way down. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to twist on one side. But what I'm going to do first is I want to make sure this is nice and bushy. Like so. This is the front. Remember, the seam is the back of your snowman. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here on the bottom, on the brim, so that when I put this down, and make sure your little bits are, there we go. When you get it back here, I did it a different way in the other hats because this little garland was just long enough. But on this one, it's just a little bit longer. So I'm going to give it a little twist. I'm going to use my little pliers to bend those little bits, and then I'm just going to trim off the excess length. There we go. Just bend those little ends. Make sure they're, yeah, there we go. A little garland on there, so now we just want to decorate it. And that's why we have our ribbon, and then we had the pine cones. And then I grabbed the bush that had the flowers. I went ahead and I trimmed all of these off because I'm going to use them, whether I use them all on this or I'm going to use them on something else. And then I've got this, I only cut off one flower from my bush. I didn't want them all, you know, running around because I feel like I'm only going to use one if I do use it. So I want to keep these all on here. Now, if I was going to use a majority of them, then I would go ahead and cut them off. But in this case, I'm just going to leave them all on my little bush and just cut one, like so. And then we'll decide. I'm going to take this ribbon that has these little flakes on it, and I'm going to create a little bow with that. Take a piece of floral wire, about 4 inches or so. And then I can take the end of my wire, or my ribbon, I'm sorry, my ribbon. I'm going to cut it at a little bit of an angle here. See what that little angle. And about, what is that, about 2 inches or so? 2 to 3 inches. I'm going to twist it, make a loop, pinch and twist, make another loop, and I'm going to do about, I'm going to do 3 little loops on each side so that I have 6 loops all together. If you want to learn how to make handmade bows, I have a video, and I'll put that in the description box below so that you can check that out. Now I'm twisting the part with the ribbon because I want it to tighten this way. And now I've got excess wire, so I can take that off. Just pinch it with my, I'd like to pinch it with my needle nose pliers and then just kind of curl it in to kind of create, you know, a little base where I can put glue on and glue that down to my little arrangement. Let's push that off to the side. Okay, so now the back, the seam, where the seam is, I want to put the little bow on the side here. So a little bit of glue on that little wire bit, and then just glue it in there. And I'm going to bring this little tail over this way, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a little dot of glue here and then hold it down like that, just so it stays in place. Okay, and just glue that in, and there you go. You got a little bow. Now you could stop at this point and just paint his face, or not even bother with painting a face, and then this would go on top of here. Get the idea? But I'm going to continue. I'm going to add some elements. Now I said I was going to add the flower, and now the flower is looking too big, but I'm going to go ahead and add it anyway. I'm going to trim a little bit more of the stem. I didn't know how much stem I was going to need, so I cut it like about 2 inches. Now I'm just leaving a little tiny bit, and I'm leaving the little leaf parts in there, and I'm going to glue that off to the side here. Put some glue on there, and then just tuck it behind the bow here, like so. And there you go. Now from the back, obviously I can see all of that, so I can always make another little bow and put it in there, or put a little pine cone. which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to take the pine cones off the leaves and then just tear that off. And then cut these leaves. This is 2 pieces right here. I'm going to leave them like that. Put a little glue on them. Glue that down here. So I can go ahead and use another little pine cone. This is a tiny one, so I'm going to use this one. Trim that off. Put some glue on that. And put that right here in front. Just hold it there. And I'm going to put this other one in the back behind the flower to make sure that, you know, in case the little lantern gets looked at and people turn it around or they're looking behind it, you got a little finished backing there. And I'm going to put some glue on this back little petal. Push it up against the hat so it stays open because it keeps wanting to flop down. Okay, so that's how you can take care of that situation. And there we go. Like this. And then I've got these cute little berries. And I'm just going to put some glue on the stem. Push that behind there so it hides behind the leaves. That's looking real cute. Do I want to use the rest of it? I'm going to leave it like that. I think that looks really pretty. I'm just going to push everything out of the way. And there we go. I'm going to go ahead and paint my little face there. And I've got a Sharpie, and I have this white marker because I thought I'd paint the like a little dot of on the pupil. So I'm just going to make some a circle, like an oval kind of a thing, and then on the inside paint a black pupil. And then I'm going to use this for the nose, maybe even a little more with the black. And then I'm going to do the little mouth, but I'm going to do that in black. So that's what I'm planning on doing. So just draw it to your best ability. I would draw this so you can see a bit. Let's see. Maybe I'll move the camera. Alright, I've gone ahead and I've moved the camera to a different angle so that I can do this and then you can possibly see what I'm doing. This is the front of my little, I wanted to say reindeer, of my snowman. So this is basically the center. So I'm going to do kind of an ovally. And I use an oil-based Sharpie or a black paint marker to do this, because otherwise this is all just going to wipe right off. So I'm trying to do my best here. See, 2 ovals like that. And then I'm going to do little dark circles inside, kind of off to the side. He's looking sideways. You know what? Instead of using that white paint marker, I'm just going to make this little circle bigger and then come down. And then a little bit bigger on this side and come down. So you get that little shine on there, okay? So go over and then come down, fill that in, come up and then come down and fill that in. There's a little bit of glue web there that's bugging me, and I'm scared to touch it because I don't want to smear the Sharpie. But anyway, there you go. And let's make a little crooked smile. And like that. Or you could just make, you know, a rounded one, however you like. I kind of like that little crooked smile. I know that looks more like a scarecrow, but I think he's fine. Let me get my orange to do his little nose, and then I'm going to do some little bit of accents. So his nose is just going to be like a long triangle, kind of crooked. So just do your best to create that. Kind of straight there. And then I'm just going to fill it in. It didn't look too promising in the beginning, but it looks cute now that I'm doing this. Okay. So just do that. Let's put away that. Let me open up my black one. I'm going to give it some little tiny little, well, I want it tiny, but my Sharpie slipped on me. Some lashes. Aww, it's cute. Okay, so now I'm just going to do some little lines on the little carrot bit. Now you could go around and outline it, which I'm going to do. Just outline it a little bit there. Just kind of give it a little squiggly bit so it looks like a carrot. See, you might want to center it a little bit more, but look, I think that looks really cute. There we go. That's our little face. And now I'm just going to try not to touch it. So now we want to put it on top of our little cubicle lantern part. I would love to glue it on, but I think I'm going to have it in 2 pieces. So let's get to another angle so we can see this better. All right, so we're back. Look how cute that looks. He's just sitting on there for now. Now, if you want to glue it down, go right ahead. Just keep in mind, you know, when you open it up, just to kind of hold it so, you know, the weight doesn't end up making it pop off. And then you can reach in, grab your little votive, close it back up, turn your votive on, again, open it up, and then slide your votive back in there, and then that's all you have to do. But I feel like it would be less trouble if I didn't glue it on, and this would just be lighter to open, and then grab it, okay? So that's going to be my advice, is to just rest it on top, okay? And you get all these little bits to kind of open up. There we go. Now, if you feel like this isn't bushy enough, then add some more on there. You got plenty of those little chenille stems to work with. Now, I did have these little snowflake ornaments that were in this box. I've gone ahead and I've opened it up so I can look at them. I do want to use them. I think it'd be cute to lay one inside. So I'm going to remove the little, it's hanging on a little string, so I'm going to remove that little string. I think it'd be cute to rest one inside behind that votive. Just push it in there. I don't have to. See, he's right in there. Rest him so he's not leaning forward. There you go. And then you can see the little snowflake in there, and I think that looks really pretty. Isn't that cute? Okay. Now, as I said, I have this other ribbon. I'm trying to see. I'm hoping I didn't grab the face. Okay. I have this other ribbon that I kind of wanted to somehow put around and create a scarf. But I'm trying to figure this out. We are working together here to create a little scarf, but I want a bow. I want a bow here. So you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm just going to create a bow, and I'm going to glue it to the top here. And then my snowman can just go on there and just kind of be on the side of the bow. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to take our end of our ribbon, and we're probably going to measure about 2 yards or less to create a bow, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. For me, this is 1 yard, 2 yards. So just grab 2 yards out of your roll, or don't cut it off until you've decided how many loops. But I'm going to go ahead and use this bit, and if I have anything that's left over, then I'm going to see if I can put that around my snowman, and of course I've got more of these little snowflakes. Okay, so I'm going to take a tail, and I want it to kind of hang off a bit, okay? And that's about, you know, 8 or 10 inches, okay? Maybe, no, it's about 8 or 10 inches. It's not going to be any more than that, I'm pretty sure. Let's measure it, just for the sake of measuring things, because I always feel like I'm right on the dot with things. And if I get the tippy tip, it's almost at the 10 inches. So I was right, 8 to 10 inches. If I was to consider this end the measurement, then I'm right at the 8 inches, okay? So 8 to 10, a little tail like that. So I'm just going to pinch it, make a loop, and pinch it. Now that's just going to be the decision maker, that size of that loop there. So I'm just going to twist it. Now this ribbon is the same on both sides, so we don't have to be really twisting it to see the pretty side always facing up. But for the sake of it, I'm going to do that because I think it creates a nicer little loop when you pinch it and you twist it. Okay? It makes everything nice and tight in here, so it helps to poof up. Especially ribbon like this that doesn't have any wire on the edge, it helps poof it up when you twist it. Okay. I am going to do, let's see, I've got a lot happening here. So that's 4 loops, and I usually bring them up like that, the first 2 loops, so I can make sure that each side is fine. So then I can just use this one to know what size to make this loop, and I use this one to know what size to make this loop, so then they're all uniform. I think I'm going to be able to make 6 loops. I sure am. So with 2 yards of ribbon, you can make 6 of these little loopies, okay? And then I'm going to use a, oh, and if you want to know what size these loops are, let's see. We've got 3 inches, so altogether 6 inches of ribbon. Loop it up so that you have a 3-inch loop, okay? That's what 2 yards of ribbon will do. And then, of course, I can't remember which tail I started with. I think it was this one. This one is almost 8 inches. So I think it's about maybe 6 or so. Where's my beginning numbers? There we go. Yeah, 6 to 7. So that's pretty good. And I don't always have my tails the same length. I like to have them be at different lengths. I think it gives the bow a little more character when you do it that way. I'm going to trim. Okay, now when I twisted my ribbon, I twisted my bow so that the wire tightens into the bow rather than this way. Okay, so you want to make sure that that's nice and tight. Once you know that that's in tight and your loops aren't going anywhere, you can loop the rest of it and trim off and leave about 1.5 inches or so. Again, take your needle nose pliers and then just twist that around so you make a nice little base there. That'll be so that you can glue it down onto your mirror. If you don't want to glue it onto the mirror, you can glue it onto the garland. Okay, you can glue it right there, but then we're going to have this situation where, you know, it's closing, and then, so I'm going to glue it to the mirror. So this is where I'm going to use my E6000 glue. I'm going to put a nice dollop of that on there. And I'm also going to use my hot glue gun to make sure that that's glued now. Okay, so that little wire bit, I'm going to make sure that that gets on that glop of glue, and of course some of that ribbon as well. We'll grab on the hot glue. We'll grab onto some of that ribbon. And just fix your little ends there. Look how pretty that looks, just like that. I mean, if you don't want to do the snowman theme on it, you can just do that. Just even put another candle up here. Why not, right? Do a double layer. Maybe put a little ornament inside of there. Seal it all up, and you don't have to worry about, you know, making a hinge to open that up. So, gosh, that's another idea. Put a little ornament in there. Glue them down. Put some little balls in there. Little ornament balls. A keepsake ornament that maybe can't go on your tree anymore because, you know, you've decided to change your whole theme. A little keepsake ornament, maybe your kid's first Christmas or just something very special, and give it to them for their, you know, as a gift, as a memento. You can put anything in there. I mean, you could do this for any holiday. It doesn't have to be Christmas. Just change up the idea. Look at that. That's a cute little thing. And then just put it in there, make it permanent, glue everything down, and then actually use the mirror on the bottom, like, you know, the one that I wanted to use at the beginning, but then I decided, well, you know, I'm going to put snow in there, so I'm not going to see this mirror, so I don't want to waste it. But, you know what, if it's not Christmas, and go ahead and use this mirror at the bottom, so that whenever you put an ornament or whatever you put in there, maybe something crystally, it'll give some reflection and some light, and it'll look really pretty in there. Or if you do decide to do a hinge and put a candle in there, you get a reflection of that little light, and it'll look really pretty. Okay. So anyway, we went into another idea. Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe I'll just end up doing that in the future. Okay, so I've got another snowflake, and I'm going to put him right here at the front because I think that looks really pretty. It's a little dot of glue right there, and then just glue them right there to the garland. There we go. And now we're going to rest our little snowman head right on top. Where's your little face, guy? There we go. For a minute there, I thought, what the heck? I wiped it all off. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to hold it like that. You can certainly glue it down, and I'm so tempted to glue it down. But, you know what, I feel like whenever I want to get in there, I'm going to feel like I'm going to knock over the snowman, so I'm not going to do that. And I just knocked over my little snowflake because it wasn't quite dry, and I decided to push on it. So let's get that on there. I think the best thing is to rest it on top. Once again, the best thing is to rest it on top. There you go. Just like that. Okay, so I hope you liked my idea, and I hope you were inspired, and somehow in this whole mess of things, you learned something. Yes, what to do, what not to do, what to use, what not to use, how to change it up if you decide to do this and for a different occasion. At least the bottom box It's an idea. Oops, let's get that on there. Okay, so there you go. So leave a nice comment down below. That way I can be able to create more crafts for you if I get more views, etc., etc., etc. You know the drill. And as always, enjoy.